Good morning, everyone. Welcome into North Dakota Today. This morning we have Lilith Astra, a tarot card reader who specializes in dream interpretation and shadow integration. And she's here to tell us all about her services and how they really serve us inwardly for ourselves. Good morning.
Good morning.
So from tarot cards to dreams to anything that we're struggling with internally as individuals, you're kind of a spiritual mentor in that department.
Yeah, I guess.
She's like, I don't want to be, but I am. So tell us about your services.
Well, so really shadow integration is based on the teachings of Carl Jung. So he was a psychologist in like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
And the idea of the shadow is it's where we place all of the things that we don't like about ourselves, the things that we are ashamed of or feel guilty for. And my job is to help people feel more accepting of those parts of the self, because the more you push that down, the more it builds and grows and begins to manifest in our unconscious behaviors, actions, attitudes. And so when you integrate that into your conscious self, you feel more of a sense of self-love and more control over the actions and behaviors that you engage in.
So what you mean by that is when we unconsciously bury something, say we're ashamed about something, we're embarrassed about something, and then we're not talking about, we're not acknowledging it. Is that what I'm kind of learning right now? Okay. And then it kind of just gets stored somewhere in here?
Yep, so it gets stored in the unconscious.
Okay.
And so that's sort of where, it's where we do things that we aren't necessarily cognizant of.
Yeah.
You see it a lot in like self-sabotaging behavior, where it's obviously we don't want to sabotage ourselves, but there's something in the unconscious saying, no, but we have to. And that's because of shame or guilt or some sort of deep buried feeling that you're not confronting.
So does this end up in our dreams? Is this kind of where it comes out?
Yep.
Because that's also, I mean, technically unconscious, right? We're not trying to plan our dreams.
Exactly.
And I have crazy dreams regularly. How did you come about trying to interpret messages that maybe you're getting in your sleep?
So really just the unconscious mind is totally fascinating to me. It always has been. Ever since I was little, I've been interested in dream interpretation and like tarot and palmistry and just, you know, the unseen things in life. And so I think tarot and dream interpretation go hand in hand, especially when you are focusing on the shadow, because that unconscious realm just sort of, it's so much easier to communicate with it when you're working with your dreams.
Okay. So for anyone who's ever woken up from a nightmare and thought, what was that about? This is, find you, huh?
Yeah.
So what is it like if we want to reach out to you and say, please help me interpret this? Do we just describe in detail what the dream, what the nightmare was, what the experience was? So
normally we'd meet up for a session and I'd give you a little bit of an understanding of like how the process is going to look. So a lot of times a method that I like to use is if somebody tells me about a dream and there's like certain details, I'll ask them like, okay, so describe this thing. So if somebody dreams about like a house, I'll be like, well, what's a house? And they're like, you know, it's a place where you find shelter. I'm like, okay, so obviously there's something about being sheltered or being safe that's going to be a theme in that dream.
Okay, so it's not about the elephant chasing you down. It's about, we got to dig deep. And what is an elephant? And what does it mean to be Wow, okay, that's a very interesting way to think about it. I do want to ask you, though, I read an article. We've all had this dream in some form or another. Truly, I was reading, it was a New York Times article. We all have this dream where we wake up that we are late for a class and we didn't get our homework done for this class. We're in our 30s, 40s, whatever age we are, we're out of school, but we all still have that type of nightmare. What does that mean if we're all kind of experiencing something like that in our dreams?
Right, so like when I hear about like a school or an educational setting, that has a lot to do with knowledge, right? It's the knowledge that we possess, and that feeling of being late or that feeling of like not being prepared, it relates a lot to feelings of inadequacy or imposter syndrome, where you don't feel like you're prepared or knowledgeable enough for the situation.
Oh my goodness. That makes so much sense when you really think about what each thing truly means underneath just what it shows up as.
Exactly.
That is so interesting. Okay, how can folks book you for a session and learn more?
Well, you can book me through Facebook or call my number, or text me even. I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah. And then do you do weekly services? I think you're at a shop, right?
Yep, I am at Mystic Moth in West Fargo from 11 to 4 on Fridays.
Every Friday, Mystic Moth. Okay. Wow, thank you so much. Did we have an information slate that was able to pop up with her number? Did anybody see one? Perfect. Okay, great. Wanted to make sure we got that up there, everybody, for those who are interested in learning a little bit more about why we're having specific dreams. Thank you so much, Lilith, for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. We got that up there. All right, plenty more coming up right here on North Dakota Today, including the Red River Valley Fair. That's right here after the break.